To another episode of Talking with Kevin and Son, featuring people you should know and the secrets of their success. Hi, my name is Kevin McLemore. I am your show host, four-time published author and award-winning author, mentor, coach, and mindset messenger, as some people say. This episode is brought to you by RMK Productions and the 10 United Podcast Network. Our mission is to give power to your voice, inspire, share stories, experience, and perspective using the framework of teaching, learning, and modeling. Our purpose is very simple, ladies and gentlemen. We want to create hope, helping other people every single day. Now, today, we're bringing a very special guest to you. So I want to give you a little bit about what she does. People like my guest today, no matter what their objective is, successful people, they create a framework around their day-to-day lives. And not only do they enhance their own lives, but many times they also pour into other people's life. And my guest today, her cup is running over. Our guest is an award-winning creator, entrepreneur, cultural connector, dedicated to supporting Black-owned businesses. Out of the 195 countries in this world, our guest has left her footprint in the sand of more than 40 countries and counting. She has used her skills in digital, media, marketing, and production to create communities that build engagement and enhances the audience that she reaches out to. Today, we'll be talking about my guest, which I'm going to call her a serial entrepreneur. We're going to talk about how she engages and creates content, creates partnerships, builds brands, and resonates with an audience worldwide. Today's guest, she holds a PhD from Temple University. It's called Afro Chronology. I hope I got that right. And I know she's going to correct me on that. She is also the founder and CEO of Harris Diversity Consulting, which offers workshops of educational training for corporations and healthcare organizations. She's also a social media wizard. And I don't know if I call it, because she's a female, a wizard. I don't want to call her anything else. She's just a freaking genius at what she does. She has a long list of secrets to her success. She is an emotional, physical, aspirational, cerebral, ethereal connection to this world. So let me welcome this amazing young lady. She is a gift to this world. She is the light in a dark room. She is a daughter of Dr. Breakthrough, personal friend, Mr. Stan Harris. I humble myself to welcome. Her legal name is Dr. Christina Harris, but her business name, and I'm going to correct it because these are my notes, Afia, Dr. Afia. So welcome to Talking with Kevin and Son. How you doing, Doc?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction.
You know, I said this early in the show, and I'll say this to everyone else. If I read your resume, we'll be here for another 5 minutes. You are by far one of the most impressive young ladies. And when I say you are the light in a dark room, you're sunshine in the middle of the night. That's how bright you are. And the things that you do is just amazing. You come from a very dynamic family. Your father's nickname is Dr. Breakthrough. He's a personal friend of mine, Stan Harris. And your mother's amazing in creating content and creating production in the film industry and giving back to the community. I know the three things that are connected with what I do, you're also connected: family, faith, and community. So if you don't mind, I'd like to get to know a little bit about you. Let's get personal with you. Tell us a little
All
bit about
right, let's
yourself.
do it.
All
What would you
right.
like to know? Where should I start? I should say.
Well, one, you are, I'm going to say, because your father know where he lives, you're not a native of Philadelphia, but you reside here in Philadelphia right now. You have a corporation. How did you get started with your business, especially as an independent entrepreneur?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I spent most of my career in education. I started off teaching high school, and then as I went to graduate school, transitioned to teaching university, which my father did also when I was young, about 5 years old. So that was wonderful, following in his footsteps. Teaching is my passion. I enjoy shedding light on topics, having conversations with people, just training young minds and helping them to become the influence of on our world, and those people that are going to shake up and change the world in a few years. During the pandemic, I was doing a lot. I am I am very much an extrovert, like my father, and being stuck in the house, I was going stir crazy. So all I could do was work. I was working full time. I had a part-time teaching job. I was teaching at a community organization. I was working for an educational nonprofit. I was doing all the things. And so once the pandemic was over, I was like, I need a break. This was a lot. I had saved up some money and I had heard of this concept of a gap year. Have you heard of that before, Kevin?
A lot of the young people that I coach in sports from high school go transfer into college, whatever, the gap year. I don't know how you're interpreting it, but let's see if it's the same thing. What's a gap year?
It is. It is. So most people know about a gap year that young people take, usually between high school and college, to just sort of explore. They might travel, they might work, they might find themselves. And now there's a new concept of an adult gap year where people that are, middle age, young adults, older adults are saying, I need a break. I need to take a year off. And so we find ways to do it. So I had saved up enough income during the pandemic that I said, you know what? I don't need to work for a year. I want to enjoy myself. And that's exactly what I did. So I was traveling, going to and I've been traveling since I was a child. All throughout my doctoral studies I was doing a lot of traveling, and folks were always asking me, like, you need to have a travel blog. Like, I see some of the stuff you post, I want to know more. And I'm like, I don't have time. I have a dissertation to write, I have classes to teach, I have all these things to do. And this time I had time. And so this is how this new entrepreneurial path came about. I was sharing what I was doing as I was traveling. I was supporting Black-owned businesses. I was doing all these things, and I was also honing my craft, editing and learning, really how to use social media well. And at the end of my gap year is when I decided to go into consulting, doing diversity, equity, and inclusion, which was very closely aligned with the work that I had been doing as a professor. I taught Africology and African American studies, and so at that point, there was a huge demand for folks teaching about DEI, doing all sorts of workshops and trainings. And so I started there, but also I was getting requests to do content. And so I ended up, not ever finding a job again. And now here I am, a full-time entrepreneur.
You know something? It's amazing the way that I don't know how you're connected with your faith, but I firmly believe that God opens the door for a reason. Many people stand there and ask why the door is open. Some people just take a risk and they kind of peek through and says, well, I'm not ready for it. So they close the door. And people such as yourself take that opportunity and step through that door. And sometimes they never look back. And I'm glad you didn't look back. Um, but DEI in our community, in our world, a lot of people don't understand what DEI is. We don't understand the benefit of DEI and who benefits from it. Um, I know we have a political landscape that just passed a bill that eliminates DEI. Where I just saw the LGBT plus community, a lot of sponsors pulled away that were supporting it before because they had to be politically correct, and now that it's no longer acceptable, we have done that. Before we get into the lighter part of what you do in the entertainment, the question is, I want clarity since you're an expert on this, and I have my opinions. What is DEI?
So DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it is a field that is really working to bring about not equality, but equity in the world. And equity looks very different. It's making sure that people have access to the resources that they need, and not in a sense that everybody has the same thing, because people have different needs, right? And as a teacher, I learned that firsthand, how what one student needs may be different from what another student needs. And I have to be able to address all of those needs. Whether, one student works well independently, he might not need as much time as one other student that really needs someone to walk them through. And so thinking about this idea of equity and what do communities need? What do we need to do to make sure that we're righting a lot of the things that have happened in the past, and that we are ushering in a new era where folks from many communities that have been marginalized are able to have access to opportunities and resources, and not just to right those wrongs, but because it's also helpful in business. We see that the more voices that we allow at the table and the more folks that we are willing to listen to and to learn from, the better our outcomes are. Financially, we're seeing much better outcomes. We're seeing increase in revenue simply from listening to voices that have traditionally been silenced. And so one of the things that I really worked to do was to help folks learn more about this. I would do trainings and workshops around implicit bias. We would set up strategy. We would really look and dig deep, because this is something that I think many people aren't even aware that it exists, or that there are these issues, that there are cultures created in different organizations and workplaces where people are not free to be themselves, or to speak their minds, or to bring their full self into the organization. And just really, really, really working to think about those things, not only in terms, because a lot of times when we say, the DEI has become a buzzword, it's become a euphemism. And so a lot of folks think about it as just, trying to give a handout to folks. And it's so much more than that, because when we think about, you had mentioned earlier about who benefits from DEI, biggest beneficiaries by far are white women, gay men, and Asians. And so that's not initially who we think about, and veterans as well. All of these folks are, groups that have certain needs and things like that. And so really just working to advocate for all of those folks. We're talking about people in the LGBT community, people with disabilities, Indigenous folks, but of course, as a Black woman, and my focus and my lived experience training comes from that community. So
All right, we're having a little technical difficulty with the connection, a little bit on the end. So I didn't quite capture the last part of you're saying as being a Black woman. We didn't capture that. You froze for a little bit. Can you recap on that?
Yes, sure. So as a Black woman, my lived experience, my scholarly background, my training, my point of reference all comes from the African American community. So that's my particular area of expertise. That's my focus. But what we find is that in liberating any group of marginalized people, we are advocating liberation of humanity, because none of us is free until all of us are free.
I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad that you actually outlined the beneficiaries to DEI, because when that program was eliminated, many people thought the only reason that that program existed because it was affecting the marginalized community. And when I say marginalized community, the understanding is, and when I was growing up, it was poor Black kids or people that lived in the hood. But it affects a large majority of other people. I just watched an amazing movie, which I'm going to recommend. You probably have seen it already. The Fight Within. It's about a Cassandra. Her last name escapes me, but she is the first and only female boxer to win a gold medal, and she did it twice, 2 years in a row. She actually had a pro boxing career that she was 16-0. She was undefeated. But one of the things that she created was that when she won her first gold medal, almost identical to where we had an Olympic skater that won a gold medal, and because she was Asian, she was the first Olympian that did not appear on the box of Wheaties, which I stopped eating Wheaties right after that. But she was not endorsed and she was not recognized up until the second gold medal. And then she actually advocated for women in sports to be paid on the same level as men. and this was back in 2015, I believe, in that Olympics. You are doing something that, when you say promote Black business, people in the community, or people in my community, I live in one of those diverse communities. They always ask, why Black business? Why can't you promote all businesses? And when I look at the fact that there was a national boycott on Walmart and Target, and I'll say them by name, for the simple fact is, when the bill was passed to eliminate DEI, they canceled a lot of the contracts of Black vendors in there. So it was more out of show versus a sincere commitment. They also cut back on the funding in the communities that they serve. So they'll take our money, but they won't give it back. Why is it important? I already know the answer, my feelings on it. Why is it important to educate us on why we should support Black business? Not only the marginalized community, but people in general. Why should we support Black businesses?
Well, because there is a long history of oppression in this country, and what that's done, while we've removed certain levels of that legally, some of it's trying to come back, but that has created a system where Black-owned businesses don't have access to the same resources. They don't have the same outcomes. We're seeing huge boosts in the African-American community, and Black women in particular, opening new businesses, but those businesses aren't able to be as successful. They're not able to get access to the same amount of funding from banks, from investors. They are many times, and I believe the number right now is 95% of Black-owned businesses are solopreneurs. And so they don't have that team behind them. They don't have the systems. They don't have so many of these resources, and they're still making it. They're still surviving and thriving. But imagine what could happen if we gave them a little bit more of our support, if we were cognizant and, recognizing this and saying, you know what, let me be intentional about putting my dollars into this community. Let me be intentional about supporting. Let me have grace when I do so, understanding the circumstances that folks are creating businesses out of. And then let me be sure to share that with other folks and make sure that these business owners are able to support their families, to build businesses that are not only making them able to support their families, but also allowing them to pour back into the communities. Because that's what happens, is that we support these businesses, they grow, they inevitably pour back into the communities that they're a part of. And so it's a win-win situation for all of us.
And I totally agree. Now, I'm going to pat you on the back a little bit, because you are huge. All right. When I talk about Instagram, you got 90K followers. When I talk about your Facebook exposure, 62K. When I talked about your other media threads, 13K, 1.3 million in monthly interactions. You have 188K of video exposure. That means that people are watching your videos for longer than 2 or 3 minutes. That means that's gold, solid gold. So you are one of the people. If you are a person that has started a small business and looking for answers on how to get your name out, I am going to tell you, take this following information down. Doc, how do we get in touch with you?
So my website is always the first stop. That's www.drafiaabroad.com. Email is another great way to reach me. My email address is collabs, COLLABS, at drafiaabroad.com. And then you can also reach out to me on social media. It gets a little dicey in my DMs because I get a lot of them. So I definitely recommend going to the email or the website first.
All right. I'm going to ask you a couple of highlight spots, but I'm going to peel back the layer, because this is a question I asked. During the pandemic, there was a group of people out of Boston. They were trying to create I don't know if you're old enough to remember the phone book, the yellow pages and so forth, but they were trying to create a directory, whereas Black businesses with products and services, that there was a resource. And I think that's very important. I think you're working on something or have connection with something similar to that, the Green Book or something like that. Am I right? Will you explain to
There are
those about?
Yeah, there are many, many versions of that that exist now. A lot of people have made comparisons to my work in a digital space being sort of like that in letting people know where they can go and where they can support. And then I also partner with many organizations that are doing some of that similar work. In Philadelphia, we have a free festival called Katika coming up on July 12th. That's powered by an app called Katika that is essentially a green book. It's a directory where you can go and find Black-owned businesses. When I travel, I use ABC Travel Green Book. Same exact thing, but internationally. So, you're going. I just went to Colombia last week. I found a Black-owned art store, Black-owned restaurant, Black-owned places to stay. And so there are so many of those resources out there. There's another woman that I met recently, and she has a digital guide called Shop the Hood, and it is about almost 100 pages, organized by types of thing. You can find anything from toilet paper to jewelry to apparel, and like all organized where you can shop online for Black-owned businesses. So there are so many people doing this amazing work, and I'm so excited that I get to partner with them and help amplify the work that they're doing.
All right, Philadelphia based, homegrown talent here. I'm a foodie. All right. So I'm going to ask you in categories to highlight some of your favorite spots in Philadelphia that are Black owned. So, breakfast place. If I were to go brunch, breakfast, whatever in Philadelphia, what are your top places to go?
Oh man. So for brunch, I would say Breakfast Boutique is a great one. They have several locations. Food is always good. I've been going there for over a decade. A newer one is the Avery. So they just opened up recently and they're actually fine dining. So they just added brunch, but they also have dinner and, just do an amazing job. And I love to see that for us in this area. There's a lot. I could go on and on. Chubby Chicks is another one of my favorites. That her food is truly, truly inventive. I'm talking like she served me a pineapple with upside down cake French toast inside of it and just blew my mind.
Oh, I got to try that. Believe it or not, that's my love language. Pineapple upside down cake. My grandma used to make it. You can make that on French toast.
You can
I,
make it into French toast.
I'll never leave that place. I'll marry that woman.
Single and she's looking, so feel free to stop by and check out her food. I think that you'll really enjoy it.
Well, believe it or not, I am going to make sure that we make personal contact, and we're going to take a walk through some of these spots that you're talking about because you're close enough for me to do that, and we're going to come back and showcase some of those vendors on this podcast. Because the reason why I do this is because we need to know these people exist. We need to know their stories. Because I'm a firm believer, especially with marketing today, if it's not personal, we're not reaching the community we want to reach, and it's got to be personal. I'm a clothes hog. All right. Now, being a person that exercises, there's not a lot of clothes that fit me. My glutes are bigger than most people. My thighs are bigger than most people. My chest, my arms are bigger than most people. A lot of the tapered or skinny stuff doesn't fit them. All right. So fashion, you are the queen of fashion. You look at your social media. Okay. You look like a runway model. All right. Your colors, everything is so beautiful. For a female, if you had to shop for clothes that were form fitting for a full figure woman, an athletic fitted woman, where would you shop? Where's your favorite spots in Philadelphia?
Ooh, so I don't shop at a lot of boutiques anymore. I do. There's a few favorites that I have. There's one up in Germantown, Perfectly Flawless, that I came across on a food tour that I was doing that I really enjoy. But I do a lot of shopping online and using a lot of those resources. When you were talking about yourself, it definitely made me think of a brand called Actively Black, and I don't know if you've heard of it before, but it's a Black owned leisure slash sportswear. But I've heard a lot of great things about their men's apparel. So would definitely check that out if I were you. And next time you're in the city, in Center City, there is a Black owned shoe store that specializes in men's shoes called Blue Soul. So definitely check them out. When next time you're getting dressed up and trying to look real fly, they have a lot of great selections.
All right. We talked about partnerships and how to create content for your company. A lot of people, we have great ideas, we have great concept, we have a great plan, but we don't know how to get the message out there. If someone wanted to partner with you, what does that relationship look like? How does it start? And what's the process of going through it and working it in? Because, again, looking at your numbers, crazy, crazy, crazy. Congratulations. How do we create a partnership with you?
So for brands, they can reach out directly to my email and sort of send over a brief or a prospectus of, project that they have in mind. For small businesses, I recommend them starting at my website. I do have a form there, and they can tell me a little bit about what they need. What are their goals right now? What are they trying to do? Is there a specific type of content that they like? And what's the budget? And then I'll work with them and put something together. I work with a lot of small businesses, and many of them have never worked with a content creator before. So I'm happy to walk them through the process, answer any questions. I offer payment plans. Like, I understand what it's like being in the trenches as an entrepreneur, and I'm truly here to help people. And I've just been so blessed and so grateful that my partnerships with the many, many businesses that I've been able to partner with, I've been blessed to be able to bring an additional 1 million in revenue for Black-owned businesses. And that is something that I am so, so very grateful for.
All right. Well, I am definitely going to talk to you about the financial aspects of growing your business, because that's when most people struggle. Great concept, great ideas. They do everything, but having the financial wherewithal in order to maintain momentum and get their product out there, that's a tough part. Are there any partnerships with banks that you have, relationships that we should direct our interests and focus in on right now, showcase here?
So not necessarily with banks, but I have worked with a number of organizations that are very helpful for folks that are looking for resources. I recently partnered with an organization called Mom Your Business. We did a pitch contest. We gave away $25,000 to a Black-owned business that is doing phenomenal things already. Also worked with the Urban League of Philadelphia. They have a number of entrepreneurship programs that give people education, resources, access to funding. And so that's very helpful. I've also worked with Vested In. That's another organization that helps folks, particularly in the barbering and salon industry. And there's one more. Oh, the African American Chamber of Commerce is another great one. And there are a number of them around the country. We have a really large one in the tri-state area. And so those organizations are great resources for folks that are looking to level up their business.
Right, that's fine. I want to go into your secrets to your success. And the reason why that I'm showcasing you is because I have a list of 100 people that I want to showcase, and I'm adding you to that list of people that are successful. I'm not talking about your bank account. I'm talking about people that are pouring into the community and asking for nothing in return, and talk about your secrets to success. We all have habits or patterns that we do every single day that resonate, that keeps us going in the direction that we want to. You are a person that not only are you putting footprints in the sand, you're making space for other people to follow. So there's going to be a young lady at some historically Black college, which I'm a big promoter of, that's going to look at this and go, since she can do it, now I see it could be done. Is that I'm going to reach out to you and ask you, what are the secrets? What do I need to do every single day in order to get to the level that you're in, or get to the point that I can develop a pitch that will grab your attention, that you'll say, you know something, I'm going to bring you in. So let's talk about your secrets to your success.
So, yeah, I get asked this question a lot. I think the first thing is consistency, and we hear it all the time, but it is so, so important. I can't stress enough how important it is to be consistent, to find your goal and then to just do it, to practice it. When I was starting this journey, it was so jarring and so different for me, going from being a professor, having a PhD, being in a space where it was clear that I was an expert, to suddenly being in this new digital space where I don't know what's going on, and the rules are all different and I'm a newbie. And so what I really was able to hone in and focus on was just doing it. Just do it, just practice. And the more I did, the more videos I created, the more people I partnered with and showed up, it became so much easier. And it just became like second nature. So definitely consistency in whatever you're doing. You're building your business, you're trying to get your business out there, just staying consistent. The second thing that I would say that I've always leaned into is focusing on the win, WIN, and not the when, WHEN. And when we are honed in and we are focused on a goal, when we think about what it is that we want to accomplish, we write it down, we create our vision board, we speak it in prayer. That is the focus that you need to keep yourself activated and to keep yourself on the path. And I've really been able to see that firsthand in my life. There's scientific reasons for that as well, the way that our brain works and the way that we're able to train ourselves. But focusing on that, and regardless of, thinking about, well, what are other people doing right now? Or, I'm 40 years old and I feel like I'm behind in my life, or I'm 30 years old. I should have bought a house by now. I should have been married. I should have done all these things. But instead of thinking about that, focusing on that win that you want to happen, focusing on the goal, honing in and locking in, and just doing, just keep going until you get there, and then create another goal.
All right. You said something that struck me. How do you become an original in this space of media? And the reason why I'm asking that, because when I started my podcast, everyone told me what I was doing wrong. Your podcasts are too long, they're too this, and your introduction or whatever. And I basically patterned my business at the same way I grew my business in the personal training space and every other place. I said I surround myself with like-minded people. I didn't care about the numbers. I cared about the quality of the people and the content I had. How do you become how do you become an original, and what advice do you give to someone that's starting out, that has more questions than answers, but they keep looking at, everyone else has 400,000 followers. How do I get followers? And then you look at all the piranhas that are in there saying, I can get you 10,000 people if you pay me X amount. How do you avoid the pitfalls of going into business?
Yeah. So I think that, we're all originals, right? And so the best way to grow is by showing up that way. Some of the most successful creators I've seen have really leaned into their personalities. They've leaned into their unique perspectives on different topics. And that's what people want to see, because there are so many clones out there. There's a lot of people that are doing the same thing. And, sometimes that looks familiar, it looks polished, and, they might have a lot of followers, but the real impact comes from those people that are unique, that are different, that have something different to say about something, or a different way of looking at it, a different way of presenting it. And so when you find what that is, and when you have the courage to show up as your authentic self and to keep doing that day in and day out, that's where the magic happens.
All right. I've learned one thing about this interview. You are a master storyteller. Master. Most people, when they ask what you do, and this is my own little line in my head. When I ask what you do, I'm not asking for you to build me a watch. I'm asking you to tell me what time it is. And that's in my business world is called, what's your elevator pitch? What is the perfect pitch of what you do? I want to give young people an example. If someone asks you exactly what you're doing, if you're trying to do what you do, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or whatever. What do you do when people ask you?
So Let me see. I haven't had to develop a pitch yet. I think that most people that come across, they know me from the internet first. So they have a really good idea of what I do. But in introducing myself, I just let people know that I am a DEI practitioner. I'm an educator. I am a content creator, digital media producer. I highlight Black owned food, fun, and travel. I have an audience of over 150,000 that's growing every day. And I'm very, very excited that that audience has been incredibly, incredibly supportive and has allowed me to be able to bring an extra $1 million in revenue into Black owned businesses. I also inspire folks to travel. I lead group trips. I show people how to travel. And so, just grateful to be able to expose people to new experiences and get us out there into the world and living life.
All right. All right. So, you mind if I have a little fun real quick?
Sure.
What distracts you? I always tell people that don't feed your distractions when they're in business. I work way too much. And matter of fact, I'm taking your advice. I'm starting to tell people to take your vacations, to travel, see the world, grow, live, and experience other cultures and other people, and then bring that back home and build a business around it. So, people walk around all day long with their cell phones in their hands. They don't look up. They don't see the sun rising or sunset. They don't watch the roses or watch little kids playing and remember what it's like to lay in the grass and look at the clouds. How do you avoid feeding your distractions?
Discipline. That's it. And for me, but social media is a distraction for me, which is very difficult because that's what I do and where I work. And it becomes so easy to get sucked into it. As you mentioned, it's a tool that is created to suck us in. It's created to sort of foster an addiction. And I believe that social media is an incredible and powerful tool. I've seen the way that it can change people's lives, the way that it can elevate people's businesses, the way that it can connect communities. So I believe that it is a very useful tool, but just like a sword, a gun, any other tool, it can be helpful and it can be destructive at the same time. So discipline is definitely the only way to sort of avoid that distraction and building those habits where you catch yourself when you're going down the rabbit hole, or when you realize that you look up and it's been 2 hours and you're like, wait a minute, let's set some parameters moving forward. And so yeah, that's one of the things that I've really had to hone in on and encourage others to do as well.
All right. Going into business for yourself or working for anyone else, it is not easy. It's not always a celebration. It's not always the big paycheck. Sometimes we can't make payroll. Sometimes we can't get inventory. Things get delayed or whatever the case may be. We all have it. I know that I do and I take my education or my self-talk to myself from my sports background. What is your self directed speech to yourself when times are getting hard, when you're being pressed, your relationship's not going well, you missed your plane, deliveries didn't get on time, you had a person that didn't pay their bill on time and your bills are on time. What is self-directed speech for you? What do you say to yourself?
Yeah. I think that there was a time recently that I went through when all of those things seemed to be happening at once. And every entrepreneur has those seasons where it's just, it's rough. The invoices aren't getting paid and all the things are piling up. And one of the things that was really helpful to me was shifting my perspective, because I could see all of these things around me just sort of crumbling. But when I looked down, I could also see the foundation that I was building. I could see the work that I was putting in. I could see what was coming next. And so for me during that time period, what was so helpful was understanding that right now I'm in a valley and I might be here for a little while, but I am climbing the top and I can see the mountaintop in the distance and I'm making my way there. It might be slow, but it is steady and I'm going to get there. I'm going to get to the other side. I'm going to get to the top. And once I did that, it felt amazing. It felt absolutely incredible. And from having that perspective, now the next time, because it's going to happen again, the next time that happens, I'm able to say, listen, I've been there before and I did it and I made it. And I'm going to keep doing that. And I know what the outcome eventually is going to be. So when I'm in those periods, I'm going to tuck down. I'm going to stay consistent. I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to protect my peace and my mental health. But I'm doing all this with the knowledge that I'm coming out on the other side real soon.
All right. That we all have dreams. We all have people that we want to connect with, someone we like to sit in a room and ask 20 questions with. If you had an opportunity to spend an hour alone with someone, either living or present, alive, who would you like to have? I'm going to give you, because you're so dynamic, I'm not going to give you one person. If you had to sit at a round table with a group of people that you had to have questions with, wanted to be mentored by, or just wanted to be in that space, who would be at that table with you?
Wow, that is that is a really deep question. I would have to think about this. And I would really, so I would say without giving specifics, I would want a room full of folks that are doing all of the things. One of the things that I thought about when I started this journey was with all the intersections of things that I do and that I wanted to do. I didn't really see anybody that was doing that exactly, so I knew that I had to sort of create a new lane. But I also was drawing from people that were doing those in individual spaces in different ways. And so for me, just thinking about who are those people that are breaking barriers in business, that are creating strategies and systems that are allowing them to level up, people that are doing this in digital media, that are being innovative, that are being creative, and that are not only creating captivating content but also creating space for others to come in and to learn and to build as well. Thinking about who are breaking barriers when it comes to the Black community, who are breaking barriers when it comes to women and, our rights, our ability to make money, our ability to be seen as full human beings. When we think about just all of these areas and all of these avenues, I'm constantly trying to surround myself with people that are leveling up in certain areas so that together I'm able to grow and learn and just able to keep evolving into a better version of myself.
All right, and the reason why I asked you that question is because for this whole time, and I will say this, I'm not too proud. I'm impressed with you. I'm blown away. I'm impressed. And to see someone young and doing what you're doing, I'm going to introduce you to someone that is connected. You cannot turn on a sporting event on television. You cannot turn on entertainment or go to a concert, be a comedian, be a performer that my stepbrother has not put on a personal party to. Name it, he has done it. I'm going to introduce you to my brother Jay. All right. You are someone here in Philadelphia that you should be within his circle and vice versa. And speaking the language of helping other people. I'm going to make sure I introduce you. I mean, one of my biggest gifts and probably my best gift is connecting good people with other good people. So I'm going to gift you that, and I'm going to tell you, burn up the town with that relationship. All right. It's going to blow up for you. I will promise you it's going to blow up. And that's the key thing to what I do and what we should be doing as Black entrepreneurs is connecting within our circle other people that's worthy of our time and our space and whatever. Is there anything that you are doing right now that we should be aware of in the next 6, 7 months, next year? Because you're doing a lot of great things. I see some things coming up on your social media in July that you're doing, July 12th. I believe that's the date you have a big event. You have a cruise coming up, I think. You're traveling some places. Tell us what's next for you, Doc.
Yeah, so right now I am inviting folks to come with me to Ghana. And it's a really special place for me. I did a study abroad there at the beginning of my educational journey that completely changed my life. I've been back 9 times now, and folks have always asked me when they can come with me. And so now is the chance. We're going this December, right after Christmas, December 27th through January 3rd, spending the new year, bringing it in the motherland. And this is going to be a blend of learning about culture and history. Ghana was the first African country to declare their independence. So we're going to learn about Kwame Nkrumah and that movement. We're going to go to the dungeons where they kept our enslaved ancestors and the door of no return that many of our ancestors left through and come back through that door. We're also going to go to beaches. We're going to enjoy nightlife. We're going to go to concerts and festivals. So it's a little bit of everything wrapped up in one. And I am so excited for people to be able to join me. So all of that information is on my website and on my social media. And I would be thrilled for folks to come along with me.
And how did they get in touch with you again?
So again, my website is www.drafiaabroad.com. I'm on Instagram at Dr. Afia Abroad. And my email address, collabs, collabs at drafiaabroad.com.
All right, Doc, Afia, amazing guest, amazing human being, amazing person. Like I said, I'm impressed. I'm over the top with my enthusiasm. This is enthusiasm for me, but there's a little man inside of me going, can't believe I'm interviewing her. Can't believe it. She's so fantastic. She's so wonderful. But I won't let that person come out. But I got to kind of keep it cool, my excitement for you. My circle of friends, and then I say this often, is that I do not surround myself with people that do not have a high value or a high call to action. And I'm probably the only podcaster who will say, instead of liking me, following me, commenting or whatever, if you're not one of those people that want to make a difference in someone's life, I hope you enjoy the show. But I leave that space for people that want to get something done. And I'm pretty sure that you're surround yourself with people like that. I've had 7 people to this date that have answered this question, and someone has answered, 7 total strangers, to the point that one person, Junior Kira, he is the co-host of Steve Harvey. A young man has granted him 35 acres of prime real estate in Houston, Texas, to build his facility, his hospital, to help eradicate sickle cell, to give you some idea of the power of the people that watch. So if you had one ask, and that one ask could come true, and I want you to think about it for a little bit. All of my friends, they don't drive by an accident. They stop to help. And I'm sure your circle of friends are just like that. So if you had one ask, Dr. Afia, what would that be?
Ooh. Oh my goodness. That's such a powerful question. I think just for me, for the type of work that I do, it would be something around building. And again, I'm always on this thing of building something that I don't know what it looks like yet. But creating a system that would do the work that I'm doing on a much broader level and really be able to connect Black-owned businesses around the US, around the African diaspora, around the world, and allow us to be able to support them, allow us to be able to fund businesses that are starting up, and allow us really to be able to harness the power of our unity and the power of community. So that's something that I've been thinking about, and I'm really still in the developmental phases of, but that's the next step.
All right. And to my listeners, I just want to let you know, I have a very diverse audience out there. So I want to make sure if I have anyone on there, when we say Black-owned businesses, we're not excluding anyone else from humanity. There have been many times that businesses have been funded from someone that didn't look like us. If you are one of those people that are in a position to say, let me give someone a leg up, let me invest in someone, doesn't make a difference, of what your skin color looks like or what your beliefs are, whatever. If you're one of those people that wanted to help someone, Money is green no matter what. Opportunity is equal when everyone has the same opportunity. If you believe in someone, and that's what all this life is about, getting one person to believe in you. We all have had it. If you ever had a first job, someone gave you your first job because they believed in you. You had zero experience. So when you look at this young lady and what she's doing in this community, and let me tell you, when you have 188 people that are watching her videos, she has delivered some good stuff. So I'm going to tell you, if you are a major brand and looking to sponsor someone, looking to get behind the voice of someone, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give it one more time. Go to her Instagram page, go to her Facebook page, go to her website, and says, I'd like to have a business meeting with you because we want to invest in you. Cut out the BS or whatever. Just go directly to us. Say, we're going to put a couple $1 million into you. How do we get in touch with you, Dr. Afia?
www.drafiaabroad.com or collabs, COLLABS at drafiaabroad.com.
All right. And what do you want our listeners to take away from this interview and that they've learned about you?
I think I want folks to take away this idea. One of the things that has been so important on my path and on my journey is embracing life and living life to the absolute fullest. I live my life in a way that if anything happened to me, I'm not going to have any regrets. I'm not going to have any, I wish that I had or I should have done. And that's really made a difference in my life, in the quality of my life, in my happiness, in the energy that I am able to hold and to share with others as well. And so when you truly figure out who you are as a person and you find your passion and you lean into that, it just makes life beautiful.
Dr. Afia, I want to personally say thank you. I'm also going to tell you there's always a seat on this show for you. So if you're doing anything that we need to tell the story to, help you promote, or give you access to, I am opening that door for you. Just walk through. Here goes the key. All right. You are always welcome back. You, your friends. I like to have some of those guests that we showcased in Philadelphia with food, fashion, especially the shoe guy. You don't want to know how many shoes I have. I I am one of those kids that Sunday morning dressed up. I had to be sharp, right? All right. My grandfather and my uncle always said you had to be present. So I love dressing up. So you're always welcome. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. You're always welcome. And to my listeners, I want to thank you. Hopefully we've educated you. Hopefully we've entertained you. I hope we opened a door to your heart that changed you a little bit. Not only did you look at the opportunity that's been presented to you, also realize you have an opportunity to help someone else, to create a level playing field for someone else who's trying to do the same thing you're doing. All right. If you like what you've heard, go to RMK Productions and Network on our YouTube page. And like I said, the option is yours, subscribe, like, or whatever, however they want to do it. If you want to be a guest on there, there's a link to the in the description of the show. If you have someone that we should know, come aboard. So I'm going to tell you this. All right. I've always said to grow, you must make some mistakes. To have confidence, you must address your anxiety. To forgive yourself, you must hold you accountable. To learn, you must unlearn some stuff. And to exist, I need you to do what my guest did on this show. You've got to show up more today than you did yesterday. Understand the power of your words. This is a note from me, your mindset messenger. I want to thank everyone for listening. My grandfather always said, when you get to a place where you can help someone else out, it is your duty to do so. He said, reach one, teach one. And with that said, we'll fade to black and we're out. Thank you, Dr. Afia.